The glass doors of the private clinic slid open silently, letting in the soft hum of the city outside. Everything inside smelled of antiseptic and expensive perfume. Marble floors shone under bright lights, and quiet music played to calm wealthy patients waiting for scheduled appointments. This was not a place for surprises, and certainly not a place for people without money. Anna adjusted her nurse's badge and glanced at the reception desk. The morning shift had been busy but controlled, exactly how the head physician, Dr. Richard Hale, liked it. He was known not only for his medical skills but also for his strict discipline. For him, the clinic was a brand, and every detail mattered. That was when Anna noticed the man standing just outside the entrance. He looked completely out of place. His clothes were torn and dirty, his beard untrimmed, his hair matted under an old cap. His shoes barely held together. He leaned heavily on the wall, breathing with difficulty, his face pale and sweaty. Most people passed by pretending not to see him. One wealthy woman even frowned and stepped back, as if afraid his poverty might be contagious. Anna hesitated. The clinic rules were clear. No treatment without registration, no emergency cases without approval, and absolutely no homeless people inside. Security enforced those rules strictly. But when the man raised his eyes and looked at her, something in his expression made her heart tighten. There was pain there, real, serious pain. "Please," he whispered when she stepped closer. "I can't breathe properly. I just need help." Anna quickly checked his pulse through the thin fabric of his sleeve. It was weak and irregular. His skin felt cold, yet he was sweating. These were not signs she could ignore. "Come with me," she said quietly, glancing around. Quickly, she guided him through the doors before security could react and led him toward a side examination room near the emergency supplies. She helped him sit down and began checking his vitals, her training taking over. As she reached for the blood pressure monitor, a sharp voice cut through the hallway. "What is going on here?" Dr. Hale stood at the end of the corridor, his perfect white coat contrasting sharply with the sight in front of him. His eyes moved from the homeless man to Anna, and his face hardened. "Are you out of your mind?" he snapped as he walked closer. "Do you have any idea where you are?" "He's very sick," Anna said, trying to stay calm. "He needs immediate attention. This is not a charity hospital, drive." Hale replied coldly. "Look at him. He hasn't paid, he hasn't registered, and he's scaring patients. Get security. Now." Anna shook her head. "Sir, his symptoms are serious. He could collapse any minute." "I don't care. Drive," Hale said loudly enough for others to hear. A few staff members stopped, watching uncomfortably. "You've broken protocol and embarrassed this clinic. You're fired. Hand in your badge and leave." The words hit Anna like a slap. Fired. Just like that. Her hands trembled, but she didn't step away. "If you throw him out, he could die," she said quietly. "Doctor." Hale turned to the guards who had arrived. "Remove him. And escort her out as well." As the guards approached, the homeless man suddenly gasped sharply. His body stiffened, and he slid off the chair onto the floor. Anna dropped to her knees beside him instantly. "He's crashing," she shouted. "He needs help now." For a moment, no one moved. The guards hesitated, unsure. Dr. Hale frowned, clearly annoyed, but also uncertain. Collapsing patients caused problems, legal problems. Anna checked the man's breathing and pulse again. It was dangerously weak. She recognized the signs now, clearer than before. Years ago, during her training in a public hospital, she had seen a similar case. A rare cardiac condition that could easily be mistaken for exhaustion or intoxication. "He needs oxygen and medication immediately," she said. "If we wait, it'll be too late." One junior doctor looked at Drive Hale nervously. "Sir, maybe we should." "No, Drive," Hale interrupted. "She's no longer staff." Anna ignored him. She ran to the emergency cart and grabbed what she needed. Her movements were fast but controlled, driven by instinct and responsibility. She administered oxygen, monitored his heart rhythm, and spoke softly to him, urging him to stay conscious. Minutes felt like hours. Slowly, the man's breathing became steadier. Color returned faintly to his face. A quiet shock spread through the hallway. Even Drive Hale couldn't hide his surprise. An ambulance arrived shortly after, called by one of the nurses who couldn't stand watching anymore. The paramedics took over, impressed by the care already given. You probably saved his life, one of them said to Anna. Doctor. Hale cleared his throat. She acted without authorization, he said stiffly. The paramedic raised an eyebrow but said nothing. Later that afternoon, the clinic director called an emergency meeting. Dr. Hale sat confidently at the table, ready to justify his decision. Anna was there too, invited unexpectedly. She felt small and exhausted, convinced this meeting would be the final confirmation of her dismissal. Then the doors opened. The same man walked in, but he was barely recognizable. He was clean-shaven, wearing a tailored suit, his posture straight and confident. Only his eyes were the same. The room fell silent. Good afternoon, the man said calmly. My name is Victor Lang. Dr. Hale's face drained of color. Victor Lang was a well-known philanthropist and a major investor in several medical institutions, including this very clinic. Few people knew what he looked like in person, and that was intentional. I conducted a test today, Victor continued. I wanted to see how this clinic treats people who have nothing. No money, no influence, no appearance of value. He turned to Anna. This nurse treated me like a human being. She broke rules to save a life. My life. Then he looked at Drive. Hale. And you treated me like trash. The director swallowed hard. I will be withdrawing my investment, Victor said, his voice firm. Unless immediate changes are made. Dr. Hale tried to speak, but no words came out. Anna felt her breath catch as the director turned to her. Your dismissal is revoked, he said. In fact, we would like to offer you a senior nursing position. Tears filled her eyes, but she held herself together. Victor smiled slightly. Medicine is not about marble floors, he said. It's about mercy. Dr. Hale was removed from his position that same day. As Anna walked out of the meeting room, the clinic felt different. The walls were the same, the floors still shone, but something invisible had shifted. And for the first time, she knew she truly belonged there. The automatic glass doors of the private clinic opened without a sound, sealing the outside world behind them. Inside, everything was designed to impress. Polished marble floors, soft lighting, abstract art on the walls, and the faint scent of antiseptic mixed with expensive cologne. Patients sat quietly in leather chairs, scrolling on phones or speaking in hushed tones, confident that money protected them from discomfort and delay. Anna adjusted the sleeve of her uniform and glanced at the digital schedule behind the reception desk. The morning was running perfectly. No delays. No emergencies. Just the way Drive. Richard Hale demanded. He was the leading physician of the clinic, admired by wealthy clients and feared by the staff. His word was final, and his priority was simple. Reputation above all else. Anna had worked here for 2 years. Before that, she had spent her early career in a public hospital, where chaos was normal and patients came in with nothing but hope. She had learned there that rules mattered, but lives mattered more. Still, she followed protocol at the private clinic, even when it felt cold. That was why the man standing outside the entrance caught her attention immediately. He hovered near the wall, half hidden behind a decorative plant, as if ashamed to be seen. His jacket was ripped at the shoulder, stained with dirt. His hands shook as he tried to steady himself, and every breath looked like a struggle. His face was grayish, lips slightly blue, eyes sunken yet strangely alert. People walked past him quickly. One man covered his nose. A woman whispered something to her husband and pulled him away. Anna felt a familiar tightening in her chest. She stepped closer. Sir, she asked softly. The man raised his head with effort. I don't feel well, he murmured. My heart. It feels wrong. Anna gently took his wrist. The pulse she felt made her stomach drop. Irregular, weak, dangerous. You need to sit down, she said. They won't let me in, he replied quietly. I tried. Anna looked back through the glass doors. She knew exactly what would happen if she called security. She also knew what could happen if she did nothing. Come, she said after a second's pause. Quickly, she opened the door and guided him inside, keeping her body between him and the waiting area. A few heads turned. Murmurs followed them. Anna ignored it and led him to a small examination room near the supply area, a room rarely used for VIP patients. She helped him onto the chair and immediately began checking his vital signs. Blood pressure dangerously low. Skin clammy. Breathing shallow. Every sign screamed emergency. She reached for the phone to call a doctor when a sharp, angry voice echoed down the corridor. "What do you think you're doing?" "Doctor." Hale approached, his expression a mixture of disgust and disbelief. His eyes scanned the room, stopping on the man's appearance. "Explain this. Now." "He's critically ill," Anna said firmly. "He needs help. This clinic is not a shelter." "Drive." Hale snapped. "Do you see what he's wearing? Do you know how much our patients pay to be here? He could die," Anna replied. Her voice trembled, but she didn't step back. "Doctor." Hale laughed coldly. "That is not our concern. You violated protocol. You let him in without registration, without payment, without approval." He turned to the hallway. "Security." Anna shook her head. "Sir, please. Just 5 minutes. Let me stabilize him." "No, drive," Hale said loudly, making sure everyone nearby heard. "You are fired. Effective immediately." The word hung in the air. Anna felt her throat tighten, but she didn't move. The man on the chair suddenly gasped, clutching his chest. His eyes widened in panic, and then his body went limp, sliding to the floor. Everything froze. "Sir." Anna dropped beside him, checking his pulse again. "He's collapsing." The guards hesitated at the door. A few nurses stood frozen, fear written on their faces. Junior doctors looked at Drive. Hale, waiting for permission. Anna didn't wait. She ran to the emergency cart, her movements fast and precise. She placed an oxygen mask over the man's face, elevated his legs, and monitored his heart rhythm with the portable device. Her mind raced through memories from her training. Long nights in overcrowded wards, doctors shouting orders, patients dying when help came too late. "This isn't alcohol or exhaustion," she muttered. "It's cardiomyopathy. Rare, but deadly if ignored." "Doctor." Hale crossed his arms. "You're wasting time. Then stop watching and help." Anna shot back. The man's breathing grew erratic. Anna administered emergency medication, her hands steady despite her racing heart. Slowly, painfully slowly, his pulse strengthened. Color crept back into his face. A silence fell over the corridor. Even Drive. Hale looked uneasy now. Someone had called an ambulance. When the paramedics arrived, they assessed the situation quickly. "Good work," one of them said to Anna as they transferred the man to a stretcher. Another 10 minutes, and he wouldn't have made it. "Doctor." Hale stiffened. "She is no longer employed here," he said sharply. The paramedic looked at him, unimpressed. "Then she's a damn good nurse for someone you just fired." Hours later, the clinic buzzed with tension. Rumors spread fast. Some said the homeless man had died. Others said lawyers were coming. Anna sat alone in the staff room, her uniform folded neatly beside her, waiting for the final decision she believed was inevitable. Instead, she was summoned to the main conference room. When she entered, Drive. Hale sat at the table, confident again, prepared to defend his actions. The clinic director stood nearby, nervous. Then the doors opened. The man from earlier walked in. Only now, he was unrecognizable. He wore a perfectly tailored suit, his hair neatly styled, his face clean and composed. His presence filled the room with authority. "Doctor." Hale's confident expression shattered instantly. "Good afternoon," the man said calmly. "My name is Victor Lang." The director nearly dropped his pen. Victor Lang was a legendary philanthropist, a major investor, and one of the clinic's silent partners. "I came here today disguised as a homeless man," Victor continued. "I wanted to see how this clinic treats those who have nothing." He turned to Anna. "This nurse saw a patient. Not a problem. Not a risk. A patient." Then he faced Drive. "Hale, you saw dirt. You saw inconvenience. You saw reputation." The room was deathly quiet. "She saved my life," Victor said. "And you tried to throw me out." The director cleared his throat. "Doctor." "Hale, your services are no longer required." "Doctor." Hale opened his mouth, but no words came. Anna stood frozen as the director turned to her. "Your dismissal is void. We are offering you a promotion and a leadership role in patient care." Victor smiled slightly. "A clinic's true value," he said, "is measured not by marble floors, but by how it treats the weakest." As Anna left the room, tears blurred her vision. The clinic looked the same, but it felt different. And for the first time, she knew that compassion had finally won. The private clinic greeted every new day with the same quiet confidence. Its glass facade reflected the morning sun, polished to perfection, promising safety, luxury, and control. Inside, everything followed a strict rhythm. Appointments scheduled weeks in advance, calm voices, spotless corridors, and a clear, unspoken rule: only those who belonged were welcome. Anna stepped out from the staff elevator and tied her hair into a neat bun. She had learned early that appearance mattered here almost as much as competence. She adjusted her uniform, took a steady breath, and walked toward the reception area. Another long shift awaited her. Dr. Richard Hale was already on the floor. He always arrived early, making sure everyone saw him. Tall, confident, and impeccably dressed under his white coat, he carried authority like a second skin. To patients, he was charming and reassuring. To staff, he was precise, demanding, and unforgiving. Anna respected his medical knowledge but feared his lack of warmth. Still, she did her job well and rarely attracted his attention. Until that morning, she noticed the man before anyone else did. He stood just outside the clinic's entrance, half bent, one hand pressed against the glass as if it were the only thing keeping him upright. His reflection looked ghostly: sunken cheeks, unwashed clothes, shoes cracked from years of use. He swayed slightly, breathing in short, uneven bursts. People avoided him instinctively. A man in a business suit frowned and walked faster. A woman waiting for her driver turned away in disgust. To them, he was a disturbance. A stain on the image of perfection. To Anna, he was a patient. She approached the door slowly and opened it just enough to speak to him. "Sir, are you all right?" The man lifted his head with effort. His eyes were sharp, intelligent, but clouded with pain. "I don't think so," he whispered. "My chest. It feels tight. I'm dizzy." Anna gently took his wrist. The pulse she felt made her heart race. It was irregular, weak, and alarming. "You need help," she said firmly. "They told me to leave," he replied, nodding toward the security guard inside. "I don't have insurance." Anna hesitated for only a second. Then she made a decision that would change everything. "Come with me," she said quietly. She opened the door wider and guided him inside, keeping her voice calm even as her mind raced. Murmurs rose immediately. The receptionist looked up in shock. The security guard took a step forward. "It's okay," Anna said quickly. "He's with me." She led the man down a side corridor into a small examination room rarely used anymore. She helped him sit and immediately began checking his vitals. Every sign confirmed her fear. This was serious. She reached for the phone to call a doctor when a sharp voice cut through the corridor. "What is the meaning of this?" Dr. Hale stood in the doorway, his eyes moving from Anna to the man with open disdain. "Explain yourself," he demanded. "He's in critical condition," Anna replied. "He needs immediate care." Dr. Hale scoffed. "This is a private clinic, not an emergency shelter. Look at him. He doesn't belong here. He belongs anywhere a life is in danger," Anna said quietly. Dr. Hale's jaw tightened. "You have violated clinic policy. You are dismissed. Right now." The words hit her like a physical blow, but she didn't step away. Before anyone could react, the man gasped sharply. His body stiffened, and he slid off the chair onto the floor. "Sir." Anna dropped beside him instantly. "He's collapsing." For a moment, time seemed to freeze. Nurses stood motionless. Junior doctors glanced nervously at Drive Hale, unsure whether to act. Anna didn't wait for permission. She grabbed the emergency kit and placed an oxygen mask over the man's face. Her hands moved with practiced speed as she checked his heart rhythm. Memories flooded back. Her early days in a crowded public hospital, patients arriving too late, lives slipping away because no one acted fast enough. "This isn't exhaustion," she said urgently. "It's a rare cardiac condition. He needs intervention now." Dr. Hale crossed his arms. "You are no longer authorized." Anna looked up at him, her eyes fierce. "Then stop me if you want him dead." Silence followed. She administered medication, monitored his breathing, and spoke softly to him, urging him to stay conscious. Slowly, his condition stabilized. His breathing evened out. Color returned faintly to his face. An ambulance arrived minutes later. The paramedics assessed the situation quickly. "You did exactly the right thing," one of them said to Anna. "Another few minutes, and we'd be talking about a body." Dr. Hale said nothing. The man was taken away, alive. The clinic, however, was left in chaos. Anna was asked to wait in the staff room. Her uniform lay folded beside her as she sat quietly, replaying the morning in her mind. She knew she had lost her job. She also knew she would make the same decision again without hesitation. Hours passed. Finally, she was called to the conference room. Dr. Hale sat at the table, composed once more, ready to defend himself. The clinic director stood nearby, visibly tense. Then the door opened. The man from the morning walked in. Only now, he looked completely different. His hair was neatly styled, his face clean-shaven, his posture straight. He wore a tailored suit that radiated wealth and authority. The room fell into stunned silence. "Good afternoon," the man said calmly. "My name is Victor Lang." Dr. Hale's face went pale. Victor Lang was a name everyone knew. A powerful investor, a philanthropist, a silent partner in several medical institutions. "I came here today pretending to be homeless," Victor continued. "I wanted to see how people without money are treated when they are most vulnerable." He turned to Anna. This nurse saw a human being in need. She risked her career to save a life. Then he faced Drive. "Hale, you saw a threat to your image." The director swallowed hard. "She saved my life," Victor said firmly. "And that tells me everything I need to know." The decision was swift. Dr. Hale was removed from his position that same day. Anna's dismissal was cancelled. Not only that, she was offered a senior role with authority to improve emergency response and patient care standards. As Anna left the conference room, tears blurred her vision. The clinic looked the same. The marble floors, the shining glass, but something had changed at its core. For the first time, compassion had been valued over appearance. And for the first time, Anna knew she was exactly where she belonged.